Next up is going to be a wonderful cartoon that's been made by Alex Matler. It's about his sister. Alex is now video graduate, but he realised, as I think many of us know, that there's very little ADHD in the media. There's very little explanations of it, and when we saw his video, we were blown away. We thought it was such a wonderful thing and such a wonderful expression of ADHD. And I can tell you that some people in the office were in tears about it, thinking about their own life and in particular their own daughter. In that case, and it is an absolutely wonderful thing. So we'll play that. We're going to play that next.
I think with this question we'll go to Liana.
Okay, Liana
she's got a really
first.
good answer.
Yeah. So the main key takeaway that our group wants viewers to learn is that basically neurodiversity isn't something to be afraid of or to be demonized, and it doesn't really take away from anyone's abilities or who they are as a person. And at the end of the day, even if their brains are wired a little bit differently from most people, and they may sometimes struggle or require help with certain things, they are still very much human and are capable, and they're still your loved ones and are so much more than their disorder. That being said, we aren't exactly making a comment on what ADHD is or not. We just kind of give the viewers an insight on what could be like in the perspective of a child with ADHD, and understand that she's not so different from what most people perceive as normal. Yeah.
Thank you. And does anyone have do either of you want to add to that?
I don't think so. I think she said it perfectly. That's exactly the view that we just kind of went on with this project. Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful expression. Thank you. So the second question. So when you love a child with or without ADHD, there are times when even in the toughest moments, you can't stop from being softened by their enduring positivity, innocence, and lust for life. And those traits are captured just beautifully in Doodle. Can you tell us a bit more how you developed the character?
So it was a lot to do with observation, and also, like we said, with the loved ones that we have who have ADHD. During the early processes of doing the concepts, I actually went and interviewed my sister and a bunch of kids, and I tried to make it a little bit different when I asked these questions. Instead of saying, what is it like, and how do you manage it? Instead, I pulled them aside and asked them, if you had to describe your ADHD, right? What color is it? Is it fluffy? Is it furry? And I got a plethora of different answers and lots of different things. And I think the kids loved it because it was something totally different. They'd never been asked, what color is your ADHD? And then from there, we started to stem little designs. Liana did amazing drawings with Hannah and her great facial expressions. And then Anya did these really fun conceptual art of Doodle. And then from there, we just started growing until we created this character with a simple enough form, but with as much character and as much expression as possible. One of the challenges that we tried to continue throughout the entire film was taking the great concepts that we had and then maintaining that kind of energy, that brightness, and that full of expression all the way through to, from drawings to the 3D characters. And as the animator, as the lead animator for the movements, I really tried to, every time I thought that an expression was good and I thought that this movement was great and very out there, I would push it further. So it was never just, oh, I've done this, he's thrown something or jumped in a certain way. I wanted to push it a bit more and a little bit more, with thinking about my sister in the back of my head. Always, every time I did this, was what would she do? How has she acted? How have I observed her? Yeah.
With all that observation, how did your understanding of ADHD change? Did you feel like any particular learnings where you went?
I think it was, yes, there was, growing up with her, we knew what it was and I could see it, and it was never an issue or anything like that. It was actually quite, it made a lot of sense for the kind of person she was and her character, and we loved her for it, because I think it's the best part of her. But as I started doing this research, it was interesting to ask specifically my sister, how would she manage it? How would she calm down? Or how would, when she got frustrated, how did she herself as a child manage that? And that was really interesting. I didn't realize how much there's that internal work. And then from there, we tried to show that in the characters.
Thank you, because your insights are so good. There's a heartbreaking moment where Hannah stops being happy and inquisitive and fun-loving character and becomes rather angry and stern. And the heartbreak of course, coming from the realization that those feelings were really aimed inward at herself. She's angry with herself. Could you tell us a bit about how, when you realized that was a trait of ADHD, and what that was like realizing that?
Again, it was from observation. I would see not only my sister, but even some of the kids that I interviewed. The amount of frustration that would come in something that others would take as a simple task. And I noticed how that wasn't necessarily a projection of how frustrating the task was, but it was more of how frustrating I am. I can't speak personally for ADHD, but as someone who has dyslexia, I have my own similar version of that when I'm reading, or if when I was a kid, I had to do public speaking. That was horrific for me as a little kid. And one of the reasons why I used to get so frustrated trying to read something and always being so slow was not at what I was reading, but myself. And this was something that we understood, and this is why we wanted Doodle to be this character, because at the end of the day, this is just her dealing with herself, not necessarily this external character.
And actually, that was one of the particular beauties. And Anya, you had the responsibility on the storytelling, that the end point where she's lost it, like she's focused in and doing the thing. And it's how did you come up with that conclusion and deciding that was your end point? And
yeah, Anya, go ahead.
Hello, hi. So actually, this was actually a lot of back and forth happening over there. So we had like to take a little bit of consults with different people, because the thing with the story we chose was that it was really fragile, because we were very mindful and aware that we did not want to make a comment on what ADHD is, if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So I think with the ending, we just wanted to like show that there is this one time where like she is just feeling herself, and we spoke a lot about hyperattention in people who have ADHD. And we also made a comment prior to her creative bursts and her creative energy. So we wanted to curate like a space and a time for her where she just sat down with herself and her ADHD, and they did what they knew best, and that is just to draw and to have some fun. Because that was like the perfect ending, because that way we were not commenting on if ADHD was a problem to her or not. And we already had seen their trajectory throughout the day. And it's just something like at the end of the day, she has to go back to bed with her and her ADHD. And she just reconciliated with the fact that she's awesome. And this is something that she loves. And this is something radiate. And this is something where they meet. And this is their ground and their mojo. So I think it just fit perfectly, but it required a lot of back and forth as well. So yeah.
Well, it was absolutely worth it, and obviously you guys working as a team together. Our last question is what does it mean to you to be an ally of the ADHD community, which you all three definitely are?
I'm going to start with this one, and then I think we were allies both as young filmmakers who wanted to talk about ADHD and bring it to the forefront, and as people who have been living and loving people with ADHD. And playing both those roles have been an absolute honor. And it has taught us that it's acquainted us to a lifestyle which can be fundamentally very different from us. It kind of opens you up to like being more accepting towards people who may or may not have a disability or a disorder. And it tells you that, like, people are truly very unique as individuals, and normalcy is really overrated. And as long as long as you love someone, you accept them for the whole of it. And being a part of a community like this, which is so warm and welcoming, and does not see the disparities between every individual, it just really fulfills you as that humanity is not dead, and people still care, I think. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Do you guys have anything you want to add? This damn mute button.
I think I'll just say that when we first, well, I will first say thank you very much for this opportunity for us to speak and be a part of this.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's genuinely awesome.
But it's interesting, and I think that I can speak for my group here, how we set out to make this film because it was close to us, and we never thought that it would be. It would ever be on a platform like this or affect people as much. I did this for my sister, and my group members have other people that they have ADHD, and we all kind of came together to try and just make this one little thing. And I think it is just so surprising and amazing that it has reached out to some people and really touched some people as much as we care about it as well. So that's just amazing how it's, let us meet different kinds of people and be a part of something like this.
No, well, thank you. Anything further to add? You don't have to have anything further to add because it's pretty covered. Look, I suppose the only last question is, like, did you get a good grade? Like, because this was your final project, right? Like, how did you do?
Yeah, I think we all did well.
Good. So you should. That's for us to sign out. It is a really, truly special thing. Thank you for letting us broadcast it and putting it out there in the world, or creating it and putting it out in the world. Thank you for joining us here to talk about it. It's just wonderful. So we'll sign off now and say thank you very, 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 very much.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. That was wonderful. I absolutely love it. Obviously, the video is embedded in this, and you can go back to it. But we will be putting out the link so people can go and watch it in situ. It is just it's an absolutely wonderful thing, as I think you'll agree. Now, look. This is a charity event, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say, like, please donate. Like, so this is organised by 3 charities: ADHD UK, ADHD New Zealand, and the ADHD charity in South Africa, Goldilocks and the Bears. And you'll be hearing from those, obviously, in the different time zones. So particularly ADHD New Zealand taking over in the night when we're all tucked up in bed. At least I hope I will be. There's a good chance I'm running through the night on this one, particularly considering the technical challenges at the start. We're looking forward to them. They've got some really wonderful events. Do check out the schedule at globaladhd.com. And whilst you're there, do consider donating. Like, we are doing this, we're doing this for many reasons, to change what it means to have ADHD in the world. And obviously we're focused in the UK, New Zealand, you get the idea, to provide you with the best information and learning that's around, and to raise some fun, and for those who are so minded to raise some funds for the charity. We get no government funds at all, and so rely on donations. And if you think what we're doing is good, and you want to see more of it, and that means lobbying for change, that means changing around diagnosis, it means helping get people support in the workplace and in schools.